From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon. I'm Augusta McDonnell. Miller Robson has our forecast in just a few minutes, but first our top story. 1 year ago, 34-year-old Megan Stedman was reported missing out of Livingston. A few weeks later, she was then found dead in Idaho Falls. Our Megan Elaine was at a vigil last night where her family members honored her, as well as brought awareness.
Family members of Megan Stedman were joined by members of Aspen, a domestic violence support group out of Livingston, as they remembered the 1-year anniversary of Megan Stedman's disappearance and death.
So we're here to honor her and keep her visible.
34-year-old Megan, who was from Spokane, had been working at a Livingston gas station when she disappeared on December 15, 2023. Her body was discovered in her camper in Idaho Falls on January 12, 2024. According to court documents, her boyfriend, 42-year-old Chris Foyles, told police he stabbed Megan multiple times. As the family is on a long road to justice, they gather here in the Walmart parking lot, where Megan was last seen alive a year ago.
Take time to think about other families who are suffering in a similar way from DV or missing and murdered family members. The community, this hurts everybody when you lose somebody who should still be here. So we just wanted to take time to honor that and honor my sister.
As candles illuminate photos of Megan, her sister, Christina Mamono, reflects.
I know grief is really tough. I couldn't come out of my grief cave for a long time. And I'm here because she makes us stronger.
Rebecca Rudd, the director of Aspen, a domestic violence support group, also attended the vigil to raise awareness and honor Megan.
We wanted to be here to let them know that we are still here, and we want to be able to support them in their time of need and after.
Foyles remains in custody at the Gallatin County Detention Center as he awaits trial. As Megan's family continues fighting for justice, Aspen offers support.
Finding those places to put hope into the future, in addition to dealing with a long and difficult criminal justice process that is painstaking and doesn't always make sense. So for folks that are going through the criminal justice process, we're also there to assist with that.
At the end of the day, Megan's family wants her memory to live on.
Never forgetting and remembering all she was, all who she was. Her adventure, her charisma, her laughter, her joy. She cared about people.
In Bozeman, Megan Elaine, MTN News.
Welcome to the final week of fall. By the time we get to the weekend, winter officially arrives on Saturday. It's not going to be very winter-like, with some of us getting back into the 50s. We'll explore that with the local forecast coming up. But first, what's going on across the U.S.? Well, much of the U.S. above average temperatures and mild conditions today. The Northwest, heavy rains for the coastal ranges and accumulating snow for the higher elevations, and much of the eastern half of the U.S. Wet conditions expected for the next couple of days. Again, for us, we're going to be getting warmer later this week after a shot of old man winter comes through today through tomorrow, maybe a little bit on Wednesday, Thursday for some, and then those warmer temperatures. We'll take a look.
And winter weather across Montana causing some very dangerous travel conditions over the weekend, even shutting down a long stretch of Interstate 94 on the eastern side of the state. Freezing rain there leading to stretches of black ice, forcing that roadway to shut down for an 80-mile stretch between Miles City and Glendive. The road was closed for about 8 hours, finally opening up around noon on Sunday. And this was supposed to be a last call craft local on Saturday, but now the business will remain open after a group of musicians and business owners stepped in to save it. Craft Local in Billings has events scheduled through the rest of December, and the new board members say they'll reassess in the new year to see exactly how they'll plan to keep that business moving forward into the future. And something to keep an eye on, some utility companies are seeing a rise in scams this holiday season. Northwestern Energy posted to social media this week that scammers are constantly changing their tactics, which can include robocalling, fraudulent text messages, and emails. And the scammers try to create a sense of urgency by demanding immediate payments, something to keep an eye on. In a world where AI is making everything easier, we are asking if integrity and personal voice are getting lost in the writing. It's a worry that many educators at the University of Montana are trying to cope with as the semester comes to an end and finals week rolls on. MTN's Emily Brown visited campus to see how UM is adjusting to this new tech tool.
If I was a student at the University of Montana and I typed into ChatGPT, write me an essay on Montana's history. In less than 10 seconds, the essay is done. But would a professor notice that this work isn't mine?
I mean, really our question is always, what does the syllabus say? What does the assignment say? Are you allowed to be using this?
The short answer on AI is, it depends.
It could be the student used AI as a tool and appropriately cited it, and therefore it is perfectly allowable in the assignment.
John DeBoer is the Vice Provost of Academic Affairs at UM.
The Student Code of Conduct defines plagiarism as representing the work of another person or generative AI as one's own.
He's the one you'd meet with if you repeatedly misuse information.
So if a pattern is established and somebody's doing something multiple times, then you might have to escalate.
Normally, however, professors spot AI through its use of buzzwords or formatting.
Usually it's pretty evident that there's a citation that doesn't match reality, or the AI-generated content hallucinates something that's entirely incorrect.
And professors handle it on a case-by-case basis, but usually that comes with a hit to the assignment's grade.
We really encourage instructors to think about this as a learning experience.
At the Writing Center, Associate Director Amy Ratto-Parks says students mainly ask questions about AI.
Most of the time, though, we're seeing students who are more cautious about AI. They're more interested in doing the work and just making sure it's as good as it can be.
For junior Kylie Kotrick, AI can be useful for research on her forensic anthropology topics, but she says never for final drafts.
I don't see it for writing or that kind of stuff because that's not your own thoughts.
And the reason she's at UM is to expand her perspective.
College is where you learn to think differently.
In Missoula, Emily Brown, MTN News.
In today's Ag Report, a local author writes a series of children's books based on the adventures of a boy and his horse on a Montana ranch. MTN's Haley Monaco has this.
The Adventures of Mighty and McGriff is a series of books filled with heartwarming stories of a boy and his horse. And inside a Columbus home, the author and her boys are creating adventures of their own. The sounds of beautiful chaos come from the Pearsall house. And these two little cowboys are responsible.
And that wild, free energy.
But this mom of two and author of the children's books, The Adventures of Mighty and McGriff, finds the time to write between wrangling the boys.
Howdy, Cormac.
With his hat on and a piece of straw hanging from his mouth, Leo looks just like the main character McGriff. And the name comes from the younger cowboy, Griffin.
Kind of act like they own the place and that they're in charge, and so that's kind of the theme for the character.
Back in February, Justine Pearsall wrote the first Adventures of Mighty and McGriff.
Yeah, let us help you, Daisy and Sis.
The story of a mini horse and a brave boy takes place on a ranch in Montana.
My dad grew up in Circle, Montana on a ranch. They actually rode horses to school, to a little one-room schoolhouse when they were growing up. And then my mom grew up over in Sheridan on a small sheep farm, Sheridan, Montana.
Places and memories Pearsall holds near.
Every time we'd go visit, it was just so much fun as kids to go and feel like you could explore anywhere and you were in your own little world, your own land you were on, and it just seemed like there were never boredom.
A way of life she is excited to share with families all over the U.S.
The lifestyle of farming and ranching, I mean, it gets glamorized a little bit on TV, but it teaches such good foundations for families.
I suppose I knew you'd say that, Mama grins.
In their newest adventure, Mighty and McGriff battle a snowstorm to help give a neighbor a Christmas to remember.
Good morals throughout the books.
A story of a boy and his horse, growing up the Montana way.
Every day's an adventure on a farm and a ranch.
Mom, Justin.
In Columbus, Haley Monaco, MTN News.